Ah, the sweet, sweet smell of Volvo gravy. What's up, guys? It's Drifts and Lifts here. All right, so today's episode, we got some fun stuff for you. As you can see, I got the panel wagon out. So it's been a little while since I took this car out. We had the head gasket issues a little while ago. I was on the stock head bolts when we got it tuned, and we went for a big power run. We ended up making like 437 wheel horsepower. It ended up lifting the head on that run, so we turned it down to about 395 wheel horsepower, turned the boost down about 4 or 5 pounds, and it seemed like it was holding for a little while, but then I took it to a track event and it actually blew the head gasket, and I managed to drive the car home. It got me home and stuff, but we put her in the garage, and now I got a new head gasket in it, and I was actually waiting for some Yoshi Fab head studs, so some ARP head studs from Yoshi Fab. And USPS is having a lot of issues with shipping times right now, so unfortunately those didn't come in quite yet. They're still on their way, but in the meantime, I got some upgraded head bolts that I put in the car. So it's actually got some Fastenal. I went to Fastenal, which is like a fastener shop basically, and they sell a bunch of random bolts and nuts and stuff. And I brought the guys a factory head bolt. I said I need this exact size of bolt, but I just want it in a grade or 2 up. So the factory head bolts are grade 10.9 in these cars. I'm running a grade 12.9 Allen head bolt. So I'm also running some grade 12.9 washers underneath the Allen head bolt. So I think this should be pretty good. So today's gonna be pretty chill. Unfortunately, our local track here just brought out some new rules because there's some issues with some stuff here lately. And now we actually need a full cage with door bars to do tandems. So unfortunately the panel wagon doesn't have a cage yet, but I do want to build another shell. If you guys remember Larry, that other wagon shell that I have, I'm going to be building that car fairly soon here, fully parting out the panel wagon. But because this car is so rusty, it's not worth putting a cage in and doing all that extra work in. So today we're just gonna be hanging out and going for some solo runs. So we're gonna try to get some out of car footage, and I'm gonna strap the GoPro to my helmet, and we're gonna see how this thing performs, because I haven't really got a good, drift run out of it. Last time I was at the track, I only got like 4 laps out of it before the head gasket blew. So yeah, let's have some fun. Trusty panel wagon. I mean, it's not so trusty really, but alright guys, so this is actually a layout that we haven't done before at this track, so it should be kind of interesting.
Hi, homie. Rip it.
Change the alignment a little bit. Feels kind of weird, but this thing's sweet. So I was doing that whole course in 3rd gear. This thing feels pretty good. We'll go for one more, and then we'll pull her in and take a little peek. All right, guys, 3rd run. Panel wagon's still good. power, so I'm not too sure what happened there. We're gonna hook up the EMU data logger and make sure I still have oil pressure and fuel pressure and such. All right guys, so this is my EMU data logger app, so you can kind of see what's going on. We have 2.9 bars of fuel pressure, which is fine. So it looks like my EMU data logger app just failed. So it looks like we have oil pressure and it looks like we have fuel pressure, so I'm not too sure what happened there. A little bit sketchy though, so what I'll do next time is I'll click this in and then we can actually data log, so Dan at Post Haste Performance can check on the laptop what actually happened, if I'm getting some issue or something. But kind of weird because it's kind of scary when you're drifting and the car just shuts off on you, so we're gonna have to make sure that's all good. All right guys, so we had a bit of a power steering leak. The fitting into the power steering pump was literally just loose. So we're gonna go for another lap and see if it gives us any issues again. So as you can see, the last couple runs, I haven't been doing like a big entry because we're not allowed to do like a big entry into this corner because people are coming down this side road. So I'm just like initiating right at the cones there. So last run, the oil pressure and everything, we were looking on the data logger here and it seemed to be all good. So we're just gonna keep going, and you know, it might have been like a crank trigger issue that shut the car off. I'm not too sure what it was. So I'm gonna data log all my runs from now on, so just in case something does happen, I can give it to Dan at Post Haste Performance and he can check it over for me. But seemed to be good that run. Shut off at the end there. Yeah. Ferret. Maybe I'll get a ferret.
If he was dark, he'd look like your beard and your hair.
just tuck him in. Smuggle him. That's awesome, man. So he doesn't mind this, eh? He just likes this?
He just chills, yeah. They're super chill pets.
Super chill. What are these guys up to? Oh man, what are they?
Yep, stay. There we go, feeling it.
Oh, it's coming.
It's just lower it a bit.
Losing power for like a couple seconds and comes back. All right guys, so I've done like a couple laps now, and unfortunately the panel wagon keeps giving me a bit of an issue where I lose all power for like a split second, you know, 2 seconds, and then it kind of comes back. So I don't really know what's going on. We were looking at the oil pressure and the fuel pressure on the EMU data logger while we were doing those runs, and it didn't seem like we were dropping fuel pressure or oil pressure. So the motor should be fine in that sense. Now, I think it might just be like a crank trigger issue or something like that, because we're actually still running the factory Hall sensor distributor hooked up to the standalone ECU, and we're also running the factory crank position trigger. So we could be having some issues with that. It could be losing sync in the higher RPMs, that kind of thing. It seems to do it in the higher RPMs, I do think. So I'm not too sure. I might take it for one more lap, but it seems to pretty much do that every lap. So it's a little bit sketchy when you're trying to drift and then the thing loses all power on you. So, but I will say though, this car feels awesome. It's got tons of power. And you guys probably noticed when I was driving it in there that I was actually doing the whole track in 3rd gear. So this thing's got plenty of torque, and once the turbo gets spooling even a little bit, you know, 5 pounds of boost, this thing really starts to torque up. So it's really easy to keep the tires spinning. Like, I don't have to clutch kick it. I could clutch kick it if I wanted to, just to kind of change the style of driving, but overall pretty happy with it, guys. So as I've been saying in the last few videos, I think the panel wagon's, you know, its time is coming to an end very soon, because I want to build a cleaner car, and I do want to do a roll cage in this next one, and the panel wagon is just simply too rusty to put a roll cage into. As you guys can see, the whole floor was actually completely gone. I cut all that out, welded a plate of metal in there. There's a giant rust hole in the front, there's rust holes in the passenger footwell, there's rust holes back here, like right there. There's rust holes all over this damn car. So I do have a clean shell, and I want to build a clean shell, and honestly just have a dope Volvo street car. Doing the whole drift car missile thing is fun, but I want a car that I can bring to like a car show, you know, drift on the weekends if I want to, but also have as like a cool street car. And like if a cop pulls me over, he's not gonna be like, what are you driving here? So luckily the panel wagon in this shell was a really good chassis to do like research and development, and, you know, assemble all my aftermarket parts together and just kind of work out the kinks and, you know, see how it all fits together. So the next car I build is basically going to be the exact same thing, just with a lot cleaner shell and no rust. Broken axle shaft. Fucking Christ. A broken axle shaft, boys. Alright guys, so that's pretty much a wrap up of the day, unfortunately, just because, if you guys noticed on that last run there, I blew up an axle shaft. So honestly, that happening gives me even more reason to part this car out and put it in a new shell and, you know, start fresh. I think it's time to build a good, solid, non-rusty, awesome Volvo that I can really be proud of, and, you know, I can drift it, but at the same time it's just an all-around dope car. I do want to do a road trip down to California this summer, and I think it'd be really cool if maybe we could stop at like Hoonigan or one of those places. So I want like a car that I can kind of show off and like is a nice, decent build. So like and subscribe for ineffective Volvo vaccines. Peace out.